Hi there, I'm Nancy with Creative Cutz. Thanks for joining me. In this video tutorial, I'm going to show you how to make this cute little tag. And it has this nice resist effect that's actually very easy to do. So I'm going to start just by using a blank tag, and I cut this one using Make the Cut on my electronic cutter, but you could just use any plain tag that you find at the craft store. So to start with, I'm going to stamp on it. Now I'm using the stamps from this little Ditto set, and it's got these nice little leaves and branches here, and that's the stamp that I'm going to use first. So I've already got it on my stamp block, and I'm just going to rub the top of this. This is kind of a little powder dispenser, and it just puts a little thin layer of powder on whatever you're embossing, and it just makes it so that the embossing powder doesn't stick to places where you don't want it to stick. So I'll use my Versamark, ink up my stamp, and for the first stamp I'm going to come kind of across the side here, stamp down, and then I'm going to do a couple more along the bottom. And because this is kind of a vintage, worn effect, your stamps don't need to be perfect. They can be a little bit worn looking, and that just adds to the effect. Okay, so I've stamped it. Now I'm just going to coat it in clear embossing powder on my tray here so I don't have embossing powder all over the place. And right now, because I'm stamping with clear Versamark and I'm using clear embossing powder, you're not really going to be able to see too much on the video, but in a couple minutes we're going to start adding some ink, and that's when you'll really see it start to come out. So I'll just tap the excess powder off, and then I'll grab my heat gun and just heat that up to emboss it. Now as the embossing powder starts to melt, you might be able to see a little bit on the video there. Okay, so that's all embossed, and now what I'm going to do is start adding some ink. So first I'm going to use the Tim Holtz Distress ink in Antique Linen. And I'll come in with my ink, and I'm just going to start at the edges and come in, and eventually I'll just cover the entire tag with this ink. Now this is a fairly light color, so you still might not be seeing too much show up on camera there. But now we've got kind of a nice parchment looking color all over the back of it. Now I'm just going to switch my little pads here. And next I'm going to come in with frayed burlap. And I'm going to do the same thing, but I'm going to keep this one away from the center. I'm just going to come in around the edges with this color. This is a little bit darker color. And as I come around here with this darker color, you can probably start to see the embossing showing up. And then I'll go all the way around with that. Switch my little pad again to green. Where's my lid? And now I'm going to come in with peeled paint. And with this, I'm just going to keep it really close to the edge. So I'm just going to give it a little bit of green right at the edge. And the nice thing about these distress inks is that they blend together so nicely. So you can do things like this blending just at the edge, and the color just blends so nicely in with the other colors that you've already added. Okay, I'm going to add a little bit more from the side here. So you just kind of add ink until you're happy with the way it looks. And then the last step, just put this powder away. I'm going to take this little bird stamp, and this is from that same set of Ditto stamps, and also with the peeled paint ink, I'm just going to come up and stamp this little bird right in the corner. There we go. And that's how easy it is. So now I've got a couple pretty little tags that I can use as journaling spots or just as part of a little cluster of embellishments on a layout or a card or whatever else I might be making. Thanks for joining me, and I hope you have fun playing with that technique.